Hey guys, how's it going? Today I wanted to talk to you about air pressure. This is one of my favorite topics. I really enjoy the weather. I enjoy looking at the weather, feeling the weather, observing the weather. I really enjoy teaching the weather unit. I think it is super fun. So, right now, this week, we are going into high pressure versus low pressure. The first thing I wanted to start off with is that I really want you to understand and try to visualize weather is three-dimensional. And I'm going to show you a pretty cool picture on the board behind me, too. Starting off with weather. Now, weather is the conditions of the atmosphere over a short period of time. We often describe weather as the temperature, whether there's any precipitation in the air, is it cloudy, is it sunny? All of that we normally describe as weather because it's over a short period. That's going to bring me to my high pressure, low pressure. Why is it sunny some days? Why is it rainy others? Why is it more cool over here, but maybe a little bit warmer over here, and it's a beautiful day outside with sun? Those are all really good questions. So the first thing I want to talk about is the sun, since it all starts with the sun. And I hope you all can see my board. Okay. I don't have a yellow marker, so I normally use orange. But even though, fun fact real quick, if you go into outer space and actually look at the sun, it's white because it's a mixture of all colors. So that's just a fun fact right there. All right, so I have my sun right here. And what it's going to do is it's going to radiate heat. It's going to give off its rays, and those rays are going to travel all the way here to Earth. Now, while the sun is radiating down to Earth, be aware that we have our ground level, and that's where we are. So when the sun radiates down to Earth, some of that heat is going to be absorbed into the ground, while some of that heat is going to radiate back up. It's going to come back up. The ground is going to release some of the heat. So heat from the air is going to rise back from the ground. What's going to happen is air is going to start to rise. When air rises, what happens is you get clouds. Let me show you. If we start with high pressure, that's going to be represented by a blue H. My low pressure is going to be represented by a red L. And one more thing before we talk about the actual high and low pressure is that I told you weather's three-dimensional. The first piece is going to be down here where we are, the ground piece. And then you have your second part, which is a big chunk of the atmosphere. It's where a lot of the weather is going to occur in the troposphere. Well, then you have what's happening above that. You have all these jet streams that are going to come apart, and they're going to close up above your head, and you don't even realize it. So if I have a jet stream that's coming together, that's actually called a convergent aloft. So when the jet stream comes together, it's going to push that air down. It's not going to let anything come up between it because it's coming together. Now think about the other side of that. If it's already together but coming apart, that's called divergent. Now, once the divergent stream comes apart, it's going to be room for air to come through. So depending on up here, is it going to block air? Is it going to let air come through? That's going to help us with our high pressure and low pressure and being able to understand that just a little bit better. So up here you have your jet stream flow. Weather is three-dimensional. All right, check this out. If there's no room for the air to come up, then the high pressure, this air is going to come down. And it's going to be a lot of weight. Like it's actually really heavy. So then down here, as your air is going to radiate back up, clouds are going to start to form, some depending on how much humidity is in the air. So you may have a few clouds, and they're small, but since the weight of the high pressure is literally pushing on them, it cannot rise. So those clouds are either not going to form or they're going to form just a little bit. Another important thing to know is here at the ground level, the air is going to move a certain way. It's going to move clockwise. So as the air is moving clockwise, it's going to bring down the air and it's going to push it out. And then it'll disperse. Those water droplets are going to disperse in other places. Okay? So let's think about high pressure for just a minute. Focus on that. I've got my high pressure. It's a lot of pressure coming down because no air can rise above because of the convergent aloft that is coming together and closing. So if it's closing, air cannot come above it. Well, the air's got to go somewhere. So it's got to come down. As the air's coming down, the water droplets and the air that's going to rise up, it cannot form that well because of all the pressure that's on it. Then you have your clockwise motion, which is part number 3 down here. It's going to bring the air in, suck it in, and then kind of kick it out. So air is going to go out. All right, let's look at our low pressure side. This one's pretty neat. Now, if you have low air pressure, then that means part 1, which is the top, it's going to be a divergent aloft. That might be a big word, but divergent just means that jet stream is going to just come apart. So if it comes apart, air can go up there. Now there's room for air. There's space for it. There's somewhere for it to go. Over here, there was nowhere for it to go. It had to go down. Well, here it's opened up, so it can get sucked up. Now, if you have low air pressure, the weight at which it pulls on the clouds down here to our next level, it's not going to be that much. It's a weaker system. So that means these little clouds that we had, guess what they get to do? If there's not a lot pressing on them and you have all this space to fill, those clouds are going to get bigger. Pretty cool, huh? So you got your first part, which is the loft up top. There's room for the air to go, so it's going to suck it up. There's not that much pressure coming down on these clouds. So now when the water droplets condense and make clouds, they're able to grow. Need this third part. Weather's three-dimensional. Over here, it was a clockwise motion. Over here is the opposite. It's going to be counterclockwise motion. So if it's counterclockwise, instead of the air going out, air's going to go in. Air's going to go in with nowhere else to go but up. So as the air's circling this way, it's going to, the air is going to come up. When the air comes up, these clouds are going to condense greater, and then they're going to grow. And since there's not a lot of pressure weighing down on them, it's just going to scoot up here to the boundary, to the divergent aloft, where there's room for it to grow. So if you have low air pressure system coming in, that's going to be lousy weather, wet weather, and it's going to be cloudy. Lousy, wet, cloudy. Okay? Now on the other side, if you have your high pressure system, which we all love a good high pressure system, even though we do need low pressure systems for our agriculture, however, I love a good high pressure system. Here's why. The weather's going to be happy. We're going to have clear skies. And it's going to be sunny. So don't forget, this is your ground. This is your middle. And this is your top. So that's the first part, the second part, the third part. All three of these parts have to work together in order for us to get the system that we see outside. If it's a nice day outside, then that means we're going to have these lofts coming together. They're going to be closing. Air cannot go through. Therefore, air is going to get pushed down. If air is pushed down, these clouds cannot condense and grow. Down here, you have your clockwise motion, which is going to suck in this air and just spit it out. And it's going to go into other places. Disperse is the word I was thinking of. Over here with our low pressure unit, first of all, up here, this part is broken up. It's coming apart. That means there's a place for it to go. This middle part, number 2, if there's a place for it to go, then this is going to get sucked up as well. Now, how it's getting sucked up depends on part number 3. Because this counterclockwise motion, which is the opposite way, guys, it's pushing it up. It has nowhere else to go but up. So if this is pushing it up and this is sucking it in, of course those clouds are going to grow. Bet you never really thought about it like that. So let me make sure y'all can see my board. So with the clockwise motion, clouds do not expand up due to high intense atmospheric pressure. I'm telling you guys, that's a lot of weight. And if you have that much weight on you, it's really going to hurt. But the thing is that we are adjusted as humans here on Earth to where it doesn't affect us. Where it does affect us, where it does make a difference, is if we are underwater. Because if we are underwater and go down really deep, it's going to affect your body. Think about it, if you ever were in a pool and you went down to like the 12 foot at the very bottom, your ears were starting to pop and they would hurt some. My ears kind of hurt thinking about it. Counterclockwise motion. Clouds are going to rise. Due to low, weaker atmospheric pressure. All right, guys, look, I know some of these are some really big words. Let me break them down just really quick. We always break down these science words, and then they're not so bad anymore. You have atmospheric pressure. Whoa, what is that? We just discussed that. It's the atmosphere. This is the atmosphere. That means atmospheric. It's what you're breathing. It's the troposphere where the weather is going to occur. It's the atmosphere which is outside. So you have prior knowledge of what that already is. Pressure. Pressure is going to be the weight at which it's going to crush on you, pull on you, push on you. That's pressure. You put those two words together, it means what's going on out here in my atmosphere and how much weight is it going to bring down to Earth. So now that word's not so bad. So you got the word intense. High, intense atmospheric pressure. Well, now you can break that down and you know exactly what that means. Over here, weaker atmospheric pressure. Well, now you already know what atmospheric pressure is. That's what this is. And you know what the word weak means. So if this is weaker pressure, these clouds are going to rise. If it's higher pressure, these clouds are not going to condense that well, and they're certainly not going to rise. All right, I hope y'all like my video. I hope this is a really good visual. Weather is three-dimensional. That's the main thing I really want you to take out of this, because that helps you understand where we even get high pressure and low pressure. Y'all take care now.